Right, hello everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the STEM Lockdown Digital School and welcome to your grade 6 English first additional language lesson. Today is a revision lesson for week 7. So I'm glad that you are all here. I am teacher Fiona, your English first additional language teacher. Welcome. So I see in the chat box that you played Kahoot in natural sciences and that you enjoyed it so much. So I thought that I should have a Kahoot game with you next week sometime. Today we're doing a revision lesson, but we're not doing it as a Kahoot game. We're just doing it as a mark yourself hand game. Molly's put up her hand. I wonder what Molly wants to say. Molly?
Ma'am, thank you so much, Ilavi. And can you please play the game next week?
Oh, of course, yes. Thank you, Molly. Thank you. Okay. Anyway, today you will work from term 2, week 5 and 6. And I've put 7 and 8 there, but it's 5 and 6 curriculum. And you can see it's all our different parts: listening and speaking, reading, language, and writing. And why is that? Because it's a revision lesson where you're going to mark your own work. Okay. So this is the kind of things we'll be doing. You'll be adding missing words to the problem-solving steps. You'll review regular and irregular verbs. You'll review how to set out a letter. You'll use the conjunctions because, but, and so that. You'll identify phrasal verbs, and you'll write a diary entry, and you'll identify the present perfect tense verbs. So we're doing all the things that we've done over the last 2 weeks for weeks 5 and 6, and now we are having a revision lesson about those things. So are you ready to mark your own work? Have you got a pen ready and some paper, and hopefully you won't need a calculator. You can just add up the marks yourself. Right, good. So let's just reiterate that. So we're going to test something you've learned about each day this week, and you'll mark your own work. Right. So we're going to start with our problem-solving poster that we used in all 3 of our stories this week. Do you remember it? It had some steps in it. So I want you to list the missing words from these steps. So if you're trying to solve a problem, and our theme has been, are you a problem solver? If you try to solve a problem, how do you do it? There's steps. First of all, identify the something. Then everything you can about the problem. Then something. Then something on the most suitable idea. And then something it out. Could you guess those words? Right. Let's give you a minute or 2. If it doesn't work, da-da-da-da. Okay, try that. So even if you weren't at any of the lessons, you could guess those words. Just thinking of a problem situation, just think of the words. But let's mark what we've got. Okay, so here was our problem-solving poster. Do you remember that? Okay, so the first step was to identify the problem. And then the second step is find out everything you can about the problem. The third step was discuss the problem. The fourth step was decide on the most suitable idea. The fifth step, try it out. And the sixth step, if you succeed, very good. And the other missing word was, if not, try another idea. Okay, so all three of our stories this week had a problem to solve, and the people had to use this problem-solving method, right? Okay, can you still hear me? So give yourself 6 marks. Right, let's go on. That was out of 6. Okay, I'm happy you can still hear me because I pressed something by mistake. Anyway, regular and irregular verbs. Let's test you on those. Do you remember regular and irregular verbs? Right, I see somebody's putting their mark there. Just remember to keep a note of that somewhere on your paper so you can add it all up at the end. It's out of 60 today. Regular and irregular verbs are a very important part of the English language because there are so many irregular verbs that don't there's Molly saying no, but you can hear me, right? Caddy, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I pressed something by mistake and I was a bit worried. Okay.
No, ma'am, loud and clear.
Right, now just to review the regular verbs, if you add ed and d at the end, you put the ed and d to put them into the past tense. Remember that? Such as shout, shouted, dance, danced, jump, jumped, climb, climbed. Right, that's the easy part. But the irregular verbs are the problem. They change altogether. They've got their own rules. Eat, ate, run, ran, think, thought, drink, drank. The verb changes completely. You just had to know these verbs from reading and from listening to English. So let's test you. Complete this activity. It's going to be worth 20 marks. Write down the past tense of each verb and say whether it's regular or irregular. Right.
What are these? What's this? What are the
Are you finished yet? Give you a couple more minutes, seconds, I should say. Okay, Are you ready to mark your work? So we'll read them together, going across. Ready. Begin, began, irregular. Bump, bumped, regular. Teach, taught, irregular. Place, placed, regular. Become, became, irregular. Fly, flew, irregular. Shout, shouted, regular. Ride, rode, irregular. Buy, bought, irregular. Bake, baked, regular. I wonder how you did. Give yourself a mark out of 20. Count it up and give yourself a mark out of 20. Right. Good. I hope that you do understand regular and irregular verbs now. Good, I see some good marks there. Okay, now we're going to review how to set out a letter. This is always an important thing in every grade. So the sooner you know it really well, the better. Do you remember this letter that we read? 100 Yariba Street, Mitchell's Plain, 7785, 12th of February 2020. You can read it with me to practice your reading. So that part is got 3 sections: the address, the postcode, the date. Then you miss a line. Dear John, miss a line. And now the first paragraph. It was great seeing you at the school's cross-country championships last week. How are things going up there in Durban? I miss Durban. And that's your first paragraph where you begin with greetings. I now go to a big school near Cape Town. There are nearly 2,000 children at our school. Our school is quite near the sea. Did you see that the papers recently reported a shark attack that took place near to where I live? The man was actually saved by a seal. And that is the second paragraph, which is the news paragraph. And then I hope you can convince your parents to let you visit me during the next school holidays. We can take a cable car up Table Mountain. We can go and see the penguins at Boulders Beach, and we can go to the beach and swim every day. That's your closing paragraph leading to the end of your letter. And here we have a friendly closing and your name, your friend, Jason. Right, you got all those? Good. So now I'm going to test you on those, okay? So I want you to fill in the missing words here. Which 3 words go there? Which one goes next? What goes next? After that, then we're going to miss a line again. What paragraph is this first one? What paragraph is the second one? What paragraph is the third one? What goes just before you write your name? Right, you got all those. Okay, you got all those. So don't put up your hands just yet. There will be times when we have hands up, but right now we're just marking. Okay, so that one's going to be worth 9 marks, but let's mark it first. You finished. I'll give you 1 more minute in case you're not finished. Right, let's mark. So the first one for 1 mark is address, code, and date. Then misalign, salutation, misalign. Paragraph 1 is your greetings. Paragraph 2 is the news paragraph. Paragraph 3 is the closing paragraph, a friendly closing, and your name. And that was worth 9 marks. Right, 9 marks. So today you're being teachers as well as students. Right, you got those marked? You got your mark out of 9. You've added that somewhere. Good, good, good. Well done. Let's go on. Okay, let's do another grammar one, connecting words. Now, you remember with connecting words, we said that there are 3. We learned about 3 different ones this week. We learned about because, so that, and but. So because shows a reason, so that gives a purpose, and but shows contrast. So can you write 3 sentences about this picture using the connecting words because, so that, and but? And maybe with this one, we might ask 1 or 2 people to read their sentences. Okay, does anybody want to put up their hands and read out their 3 sentences? Molly's hand is up first. Okay, Molly.
But,
Hello.
ma'am.
Hello.
Hello, ma'am.
So what have you written?
My first sentence say, the children are writing, but they are laughing at the same time. And
Good,
the second one,
Good.
and the second one say, the pipe is leaking because there are a lot of children in the school.
Okay, good. Good.
Yes, ma'am.
And the third one, so that?
I didn't write it yet.
Okay, well done. Well done. That's good. And shall we take one more person? Who shall we have?
We've got Ndubu, ma'am.
Ndubu?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
The children are discussing so that they can solve their problem.
Excellent.
They made a filter because the water was dirty.
Good. Very good.
The children are writing but laughing at the same time.
Good. Very good. Yes. Okay, so because shows reason, so that shows purpose, and but shows contrast. Well done to those two brave children for reading out these. Awesome. So let's go and mark these now. Give yourself a mark out of 3 if you think you got those sentences right. Okay, let's go on to phrasal verbs now. Phrasal verbs. Some people wrote their answers in the chat box, and I'm well done. So let's look at phrasal verbs. Do you remember that a phrasal verb is a verb that's made up of a main verb and another little verb with it, which could be an adverb or a preposition or both? For example, looked up, throw away, and so we go on. And the meaning of the phrasal verb is not usually obvious from the words. Like look down doesn't just mean look down. It could also mean he looks down on me. He thinks that that I'm not important. So sometimes phrasal verbs have got 2 meanings. Right, so I want you to identify the phrasal verbs here. Okay, I've put new ones up. Number 1, Bongani called back on the wise man to collect his animals. We'll read them first. Bongani's grandparents calmed down when he said they could return. Number 3, Bongani knew he had to carry out the wise man's suggestions. Number 4, the ill lady found out where the children lived. And number 5, the children looked forward to the lady's weekly visit. So write down the words that you think are the phrasal verbs. I'll give you a minute to do that. Right, let's check your answers. Are you finished? I see some people writing them in the chat box. Good. So, number 1, Bongani called back. You got called back on the wise man. Number 2, Bongani's grandparents calmed down when he said they could return. You got calmed down. Good. Number 3, Bongani knew, excuse me, he had to carry out the wise man's suggestions. You got that. Number 4, the ill lady found out where the children lived. Found out. And number 5, the children looked forward to. 3 words there. Looked forward to. So give yourself a mark out of 5. How did you do out of 5? Good, good. Okay, now let's get to our diary entry. We're going to work from this picture here. This is Bongani. Remember, he couldn't sort out his family's problems, so he's off to the wise man, and he's taking along his 4 animals. Right. So let's read what he says. Dear diary, today I walked to the wise man's house. I took my animals with me for some exercise. It was a long walk. I was tired and hungry when I got there. The wise man kindly gave me food and a bed. I hope you can help me in the morning. Good night. From me, Bongani. Okay, that's just so that you remember how a diary entry is set out. Okay? Right. So now I would like you to choose this picture and to write a diary entry from the children's story. Okay. So let's put on the clock. and the music. Are you done? Okay, let's mark it. It's going to be worth 4 marks. Now, this is how I want you to mark yours. 1 mark if you put the date in the right place. 1 mark if you missed a line. 1 mark if you wrote dear something or some kind of salutation. 1 mark for missing a line. 1 mark for a paragraph. 1 mark for missing a line. Another mark for a paragraph, missing a line, and an ending. So that makes 9 marks. Can you give yourself a mark out of 9? Okay, I see some good marks there. Very good. So you're getting into the style of writing a diary. Good. Let's go on. I think this might be our last one. I'm not sure. What is the present perfect tense? There are around 12 tenses in English, and the present perfect tense is one of them. It talks about actions that are already completed and have been done in the past. And it's actually very easy to spot because it uses has or have. She has made a delicious cake. I have completed, has worn. It uses the verb plus has or have. So there's the subject of the sentence, has or have, and the verb in the past participle. And what we said about that was, if it's a normal regular verb like completed, it's just like putting it in the past tense. But if it's an irregular verb, it changes once again into the past participle, into another form. Okay, so let's see if you can get these right. Identify the present perfect tenses here. Tim has played the flute for 1 year. They have looked forward to the celebration for a long time. The farmers have often used the seed bank in the past. The oak tree has taken a long time to grow. She has sung in the choir for 3 years. I have written down the recipe for bean stew. He has sold his guitar. She has won the award twice. Right, so can you can you write those down? Okay, you got them? You got them? I'm watching the chat box to see if anyone's got to the end one. Yes, I think we can mark them now. Tim has played the flute for more than 1 year. They have looked forward to the celebration. That's a long one. Have looked forward to. Number 3, the farmers have used. Have used. Number 4, the oak tree has taken a long time to grow. Number 5, she has sung. Number 6, I have written down. Number 7, he has sold his guitar. And number 8, she has won the award twice. So that one is worth 8 marks. Right, how did you do in that one, I wonder? Did you recognize them all? Good, good. Okay, now it comes to time to add up all our marks. Okay, so for the problem solving steps, there were 6 marks. For the regular and irregular verbs, there were 20 marks. How to set out a letter, there were 9 marks. The 3 conjunction sentences, there were 3 marks. Phrasal verbs had 5 marks. Write a diary had 9 marks. And the present perfect tense had 8 marks. So altogether there are 60 marks. I wonder how you did. How did you do? How did you do? Did you get 50 out of 60? Did you get 40 out of 60? Did you get 30 out of 60? 20 out of 60? What did you get? Ah, I'm seeing the marks in the chat box now. Good, good, good. Very good. Well, if you get above 50, then you know that you have been listening well and you have grasped what I wanted you to grasp this week. And I am very happy about that. Very happy about that. Well done. I'm clapping. Clapping. Well done. Right. Now we're coming to the end of our lesson, but I wondered if anybody would tell me, put up your hands and tell me how you played Kahoot. What did you have to do when you played Kahoot today? Those people that played in science. So Molly's got up her hand. Molly, what? Let's hear what Molly says. What did you have to do?
Ma'am,
Hello.
yes, ma'am gave us questions to answer on her screen. Then
Yes.
we saw it on the screen. Then we have another tablet or laptop that you use. Then we answer the question, but you must give us the pin, the password first. Then we
Okay.
answer the questions. Then if you got the question right, you get marks, and then
Right. Okay.
and then it shows the 6 top people. Then it rate them in order, and then it showed the marks in the right side.
Oh, very good. And that was a very good telling me about it. You did that very well. Awesome. Did someone else want to say something? Thank you, Molly, for that. Hello, Maduba.
You're up. Maduma. Maduma. Ma'am, Maduma doesn't want to speak to us this morning.
Anyone else before we go on? Okay, there are 2
My
hands.
lordy.
Ma'am, what happened is we had to log in or sign up to a website called Kahoot on another device. After that, we had to fit in the PIN. Then it was a quiz where ma'am would give us the questions on the screen with colors, and the answer must correspond to the colors on our screen. and then at the end they told us who had the highest score.
Excellent. Well related. Thank you. That's excellent. Wow. It sounds like a lot of fun, right? Sounds like a good way
Yes.
to test your knowledge. Okay. Cool. Okay. Is there anyone else that wants to say something before we go on? No more. Okay.
Ma'am,
Right.
sorry, it looks like Treasure wants to say something, but I'm struggling to unmute her.
Treasure.
Treasure? Treasure? No, ma'am, she doesn't want to speak to us this morning.
Okie doke. Right, everybody, we're getting to the end now. So we'll definitely have a Kahoot session sometime next week. Okay. Now, this is what you did today. You worked from term 2, week 7 and 8 CAPS curriculum, and we went through all 4 things: listening, speaking, reading, language, writing, everything that you've learned in the last 2 weeks. But it's actually week 5 and 6. I don't know why I've written 7 and 8 there. We had a fun revision lesson today where you marked your own work. We added the missing word to the problem-solving steps. Do you remember that? We reviewed regular and irregular verbs. We reviewed how to set out a letter. We used the conjunctions because, but, and so that. You identified phrasal verbs. You wrote in a diary entry, and we identified the present perfect tense. So you did a lot of work today. Well done. So here's some activities you can try this week. If you ever want to know more about language or grammar, there's loads of YouTube videos. Try and choose ones that are less than around 2 minutes. The pictures today were from our stories, and you can read those stories online if you want to practice your reading. And the free music clip was from the YouTube audio library. Now, I saw that Molly's put up her hand. So, Molly, what did you want to say?
I wanted to ask if Kahoot.
Sorry, what's that, Molly?
Ma'am, I wanted to ask, when are you going to play Kahoot?
It'll be in one of the lessons next week. I won't tell you which one. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
One of the lessons next week. Okay. We'll keep it as a surprise. All right. So I'd like to invite you to Monday's lesson. It's a listening and speaking lesson. Hope to see you there. And Tresha's got his hand up now. Tresha, do you want to say something?
Ma'am, so for the English lesson, we are gonna play Kahoot.
Yes, I'm going to test you on some things using Kahoot.
All right, thank you.
Okay, one of the lessons.
All right.
Okay. Now, what is that about the flip code? Oh dear, didn't work. Okay. All right, sorry, I haven't got the flip codes here. But see you next time, everybody. Thank you for joining us today, and goodbye.